think a big part of being a leader in today's world is to have the ability to think like a futurist. And we are always thinking about the future. Nobody can predict the future, of course, but all of us are always thinking about the future. Whether we're thinking about what we'll do tomorrow, what we'll be doing next quarter, we are not good at thinking and planning for the future as we should be now. Especially when it comes to business, we often are caught by surprise by the changes that are taking place. So the task of a futurist is not to predict the future. In other words, not to predict what might happen, but it is to anticipate disruption. And so as a futurist, what we do is specifically try to identify where some of the deep structural disruptions will take place, like changes to the rules of the game, as it were. And often that focus is on threats. But more importantly, we try to identify where the opportunities may lie. And so just touching back on what Dawn said, it's about making those decisions and being sort of like future focused in the way that we think. So a futurist, if I were to go back to what it means to be a futurist, it means intentionally building the capacity to see and understanding the implications and meaning of change. The future often comes so quickly that we are not ready until we actually caught up in it. So Henry Ford, this is what he said. If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. Were to ask some of the people that you work with, what do they want from you, from what you're delivering every day, they will tell you faster of what they already have. But if you are going to succeed into the future and be sort of like at the forefront of industry and business, you need that ability to think and to rethink. But what got you here is exactly the thing that's going to stop you from being able to do this effectively. Your expertise, your education, your experience, all the things that are making you good at what you do also have an effect of putting blinkers on you. What am I talking about? When you think about a racehorse, they often put blinkers on racehorses. Why? Because the focus of a racehorse has to be on that lane. So if you have a mentor, you might have heard the phrase, stay in your lane, stick to what you know, focus on your expertise. And that's good advice if the way to succeed in your life and in the world is by only improving on what you already got. Use this future backwards sort of like scenario to think about some of the things that you're going to be coming up with, some of the things that you're going to be doing, and saying, like, putting a futurist lens to it. How would this be done differently? And more importantly, how can we be part of making it happen? Because I think the biggest challenge most of the time is not that we don't have the technology, it's we lack the ability to be a Henry Ford in that situation, because we want faster horses. And so Henry Ford didn't come up with the car. The technology already existed. He came up with a way to make it accessible to more people. And so that's exactly what we can do. Okay, just something just to expand your mind and so on. Thanks, Tom. And so again, one client of ours, every year they give their staff $1,000 to do any course that they want, that they're curious about. All kinds of things like sushi making, kayaking, building model planes, whatever it is. And what they found is that by allowing people to be curious, it's helping them a great deal. So Curiosity Club. So that's something that you can employ in your teams. Think about how you could, what parameters you could use that. Another one is the 5 whys technique. This is used by Harvard for their MBA program. And it's about digging beyond the surface level responses and to get to the root cause sessions. These 3 tools that I've shared with you are what we call balcony sessions. It's the ability to go to the balcony and see things from a bigger picture. So when you do the future backward scenario, that's what you're doing. You're doing a balcony session. When you do a curiosity club exercise where you're learning new things and thinking about things differently, you're doing a balcony session. When you do the 5 whys, you're doing a balcony session. Here's another part of something that we can do. This is what we call the 5 minutes from the future. We always advise our clients to take 5 minutes of every meeting that they have to do a 5 minutes from the future. So, for example, this is something that you could do in your project groups. Every time you come together, task somebody to come up with a presentation just for 5 minutes on any topic that might be related to what you're doing or might not be related, but that will really help you to think about the future. And they must present 5 minutes of something that is changing right now that's going to make a huge impact into how things are done in the future. The last tool, the one that I want you to go and experiment and to use, is that we need to experiment more. And so as you think into this year and into this project, I want you to ask what experiments are going to be worth trying as we go into 2026, and what can we do to start experimenting on those so that we can bring those ideas into the business. Well, the future is uncertain. It is more important that you engineer into your business, adaptability than it is for you to know the future. And so as we think about the context of where we find ourselves, I really believe that all of us can have that ability to think like a futurist, to use some of the tools that I've shared with you today, and to create the future that we want.